Alright, you healthy skeptics, get ready because this one is going to challenge everything you thought you knew about anti-aging. Forget cold plunges, forget fancy supplements. What if the secret to living longer and staying younger wasn't some miracle pill or a rigorous diet? What if it was poop? Specifically young, healthy poop. Yeah, I said it. Fecal microbiota transplants are the latest bizarre trend in the world of extreme biohacking. People are literally trying to transplant gut bacteria from younger people into older ones, hoping to reverse the clock. It sounds utterly insane, but is there a crazy shred of science to back it up? Or have we finally gone too far? For most of us, the idea of fecal matter is something we actively avoid. It's the ultimate biohazard, a topic reserved for bathroom humor or serious medical emergencies. But in the cutting edge, if slightly unhinged world of longevity science, suddenly poop is hot, and not in a good way. We're talking about fecal microbiota transplants, or FMTs, a medical procedure that involves transferring stool from a healthy donor into the gut of a recipient. While FMT has a legitimate and life-saving role in treating severe infections, it's now being talked about as a potential anti-aging treatment. The theory that a young person's gut microbiome can somehow rejuvenate an old person's body. It sounds like something from a low-budget sci-fi movie, and as your resident healthy skeptic, I'm here to tell you why this particular biohack is not just unproven, it's also incredibly dangerous. But first, let's unpack the fascinating if gross science behind it. The gut microbiome, our inner ecosystem. Before we talk about swapping poop, we need to talk about what makes poop so interesting in the first place. I'm talking about your gut microbiome. This isn't just a fancy term, it's an entire ecosystem of trillions of bacteria, viruses, fungi, and other microorganisms living inside your digestive tract. Think of it as your body's second brain, or perhaps more accurately, its bustling internal city. These tiny residents play a monumental role in your health. They help digest food, extract nutrients, synthesize vitamins like B and K, and even train your immune system. They produce compounds that influence your mood, your metabolism, and even your brain function. A healthy, diverse gut microbiome is crucial for overall well-being. It's a finely tuned machine that impacts almost every aspect of your biology. But here's the kicker, your microbiome isn't static, it changes. And one of the biggest changes occurs as you age. As we get older, our gut microbiome tends to become less diverse. It loses some of those beneficial bacteria and often sees an increase in inflammatory or less helpful species. This shift is linked to many age-related conditions, including chronic inflammation, impaired immune function, and even neurodegenerative diseases. It's a key hallmark of biological aging. This is where the idea of an FMT comes into play for anti-aging. If an unhealthy aging gut contributes to aging, could a young healthy gut effectively press the reset button? The logic is tantalizingly simple. Just swap out the old worn-out ecosystem for a fresh, vibrant one. But as with all simple solutions in complex biology, the devil is in the details. Or in this case, the bacteria. FMT in medicine, a real-world lifesaver. Let's be clear, fecal microbiota transplant is a real medical procedure, and in its approved use, it's a lifesaver. The primary indication for FMT is to treat recurrent Clostridioides difficile infection, or C. diff. C. diff is a nasty bacterial infection that can cause severe diarrhea, colon inflammation, and even death. It often occurs after prolonged antibiotic use, which wipes out all the beneficial gut bacteria, leaving the door open for C. diff to take over. And this is where FMT shines. When traditional antibiotics fail to cure C. diff, a healthy stool sample from a donor is transferred into the patient's colon. The new healthy bacteria colonize the gut, push out the C. diff, and essentially restore the gut ecosystem. The success rates are incredibly high, often over 85 to 90% where antibiotics have failed. It's nothing short of miraculous for those suffering from this debilitating infection. This success story is why people started wondering if FMT could be used for other conditions related to gut dysbiosis, like irritable bowel syndrome (IBS), inflammatory bowel disease (IBD), and even autism or obesity. The research is ongoing in these areas, but the results are far less consistent and certainly not as clear-cut as for C. diff. So the takeaway here is that FMT is a potent biological intervention. It's not a gentle probiotic. You are fundamentally altering an entire ecosystem within someone's body. This powerful ability to reshape the gut is what sparked the anti-aging community's interest. If it can fix a broken gut, why can't it rejuvenate an aging one? But the leap from curing a specific infection to reversing aging is a colossal one. The anti-aging hypothesis. Young poop for old bodies. Now we dive into the heart of the anti-aging claims. The idea that a youthful microbiome holds the key to turning back the biological clock. This hypothesis isn't pulled entirely out of thin air. It stems from some intriguing animal research. One of the most talked about studies involved mice. Researchers took fecal matter from young mice and transplanted it into older mice. The results were quite remarkable. The older mice showed signs of rejuvenation, their gut microbiomes became more diverse, their immune systems improved, they even showed better cognitive function and signs of increased neurogenesis, the growth of new brain cells. It was as if their bodies were being reset to a younger state. Other studies have focused on the exchange of specific metabolites, compounds produced by gut bacteria. For example, some bacteria produce short-chain fatty acids like butyrate, which have known anti-inflammatory and beneficial effects. If a young microbiome has more of these good guys and produces more beneficial compounds, then transferring them could theoretically improve the health markers of an older host. The mechanisms are still being explored, but scientists believe it might involve several pathways. It could be directly seeding new beneficial bacteria. It could be changing the inflammatory state of the gut, influencing systemic inflammation throughout the body, or it could be affecting the production of hormones and neurotransmitters that play a role in overall health and aging. It's a fascinating area of research, but here's the crucial point. These were mouse studies, mice, not humans. While mouse models are incredibly valuable for understanding biological mechanisms, extrapolating results directly to human longevity is notoriously difficult and often leads to disappointment. Many things that extend mouse lifespan spectacularly fall flat in humans. So while the animal data is intriguing, it's a very long way from proving FMT as an anti-aging solution for people. The wild west of DIY FMT, risks and dangers. Given the promising mouse data and the allure of anti-aging, it was perhaps inevitable that some biohackers and unregulated clinics would jump the gun. This is where the story takes a dark and dangerous turn into the wild west of do-it-yourself or unapproved FMTs. In the US and many other countries, FMT is regulated as a drug by the FDA. This means it requires extensive clinical trials to prove safety and efficacy for any new indication beyond C.diff. But enterprising individuals and dubious clinics are finding ways around this. Some people are literally conducting DIY FMTs at home, using stool samples from friends' family, or even purchased online. Others are traveling to countries with less stringent regulations to receive unapproved FMT treatments. This is extraordinarily dangerous. When FMT is performed in a medical setting, the donor stool undergoes rigorous screening for a vast array of pathogens, bacteria, viruses, parasites, and fungi. This screening process can take weeks and cost thousands of dollars. Why? Because you are directly transferring biological material from one person to another. If the donor has an undiagnosed infection, you could be giving the recipient a serious, life-threatening illness. There have been documented cases of serious adverse events and even deaths from unscreened FMTs. For example, in 2019, the FDA issued a safety alert after a patient died from a multi-drug resistant organism transmitted via an investigational FMT. This wasn't even a DIY scenario. This was an investigational trial where screening protocols were in place but still missed something. Imagine the risk with no screening at all. Beyond acute infections, there are long-term unknowns. What if you transfer a donor's predisposition to obesity, inflammatory bowel disease, or even certain mental health conditions? What if you introduce bacteria that are benign in a young gut but problematic in an older one? We know the gut microbiome plays a role in almost everything, so altering it without understanding the full consequences is akin to blindly rewiring a complex supercomputer. It's reckless, irresponsible, and potentially catastrophic. This is the ultimate example of biohacking crossing a line it should never have approached. Beyond the hype, the cautious path forward. So what's the verdict? Should you be saving up for a young donor's stool sample? Absolutely not. As your healthy skeptic, I can definitively say that FMT for anti-aging is entirely unproven, highly risky, and currently unethical outside of tightly controlled research. However, that doesn't mean the science is irrelevant. The research into how the gut microbiome influences aging is incredibly exciting and holds immense promise. We're learning more every day about how specific bacteria, their metabolites, and their interactions with our immune system can impact our lifespan and health span. This knowledge could lead to targeted interventions in the future. Instead of risky, broad-spectrum fecal transplants, future anti-aging strategies might involve precision prebiotics and probiotics, developing specific strains of beneficial bacteria or the fibers that feed them to shift the aging microbiome towards a more youthful state, targeted metabolites, identifying and supplementing with the specific beneficial compounds produced by a young, healthy gut, dietary interventions, understanding which foods and dietary patterns are most effective at promoting a diverse and healthy microbiome throughout life, carefully monitored trials, ethical, well-designed clinical trials that rigorously screen donors and monitor recipients for long-term safety and efficacy. These are the cautious scientific paths forward. They represent genuine biohacking, using science to understand and optimize biology, not to blindly experiment with dangerous procedures. The key is to be patient, to support legitimate research, and to resist the siren song of a quick fix, especially when that fix involves unregulated poop pills. So what's the real story about poop pills and youthful guts? It's a tale of fascinating science, desperate hope, and profound danger. The human gut microbiome is an incredible frontier in longevity research, and the idea that it holds secrets to aging is compelling. But the leap from intriguing animal studies to human anti-aging treatments via FMT is a dangerous one. While FMT is a medical marvel for specific infections, its use for anti-aging is unproven, unregulated, and carries serious, potentially life-threatening risks. Don't fall for the hype. Don't risk your health on a trend that is far ahead of the science. Your gut is a delicate ecosystem. Treat it with respect, feed it well, and for goodness sake, don't let anyone put unscreened foreign matter into it in the name of looking younger. The information in this video is for educational and entertainment purposes only and is not intended as medical advice. Please consult with a qualified healthcare professional before making any decisions about your health or lifestyle. So next time a guru tells you the secret to eternal youth is in a stranger's gut, remember, sometimes going with your gut is terrible advice. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the truth behind questionable longevity fads, hit that subscribe button. We're here to expose the BS so you don't have to. And if you know someone considering an unregulated FMT, maybe share this video with them. We're all in this together, trying to live a little longer and a little smarter without playing Russian roulette with our microbiomes.